I graduated with a degree in theoretical mathematics from the top university in Finland at 18 years old in 1 year from when I've started school. Here's my actual stats for how much I worked. It's on average 2 to 3 hours per day. We'll get back to that later. This is not a grand set video. This is about how I did it and the urgency why I did it. I knew I wanted to go fast when I was in high school, so I chose a school and a study program that allowed for a lot of independent learning and didn't have that many mandatory lectures. Usually when people go to school, they get a bunch of things at the same time. Their awesome network of highly talented people, a student social life, which is pretty awesome. Feedback on their work, they get to study the subject they hopefully wanted to study, and they get the credential to show how they did this work and their grades for signaling their abilities. For me, I was separating those out. I was like, okay, well, I mostly care about getting the credential and learning fun mathematics. I'm really lucky in that I enjoy mathematics. I have an aptitude for math. So I chose this math program where it was really just about learning the math content. We didn't have a year of like general stuff. It was basically only math, very few courses that weren't pure math. I went to university with the goal of getting the learning and the credential. I didn't care about the social environment. I didn't need to impress my professors. I didn't need to try my hardest on every course. It is possible for each of the math courses to push ever harder on the quality line of how well I learned this, how consistently and how quickly can I produce these results. Had I do every single proof of all the theorems in this course. But there is, for my goals, some sufficient level of learning and some sufficient grade for me to accomplish. Spending extra hours polishing some assignment past when it's sufficient just to get extra credit when you don't need it for your own goals is wasted motion in my framework. If I care about learning, trying my hardest on every course as a default when trying hardest isn't necessary for my actual goal would be wasted motion. This approach sounds lazy, and I guess that's why my work hours are so low. The hard part about this approach of achieving your quality line for grades or learning is that you need to know what you want. And if you don't know what you want, it works out really well to try hard by default. In that case, you will get the many things that school intends you to get out of it. My goal for each course was hit the quality target with minimum effort. If I need to learn the material and pass, then everything beyond that is wasted motion. If I want to learn the material really well, then optimizing for getting great marks is wasted motion. If I want some combination of that, then still pushing harder than a reasonable probability of getting that score I want is wasted motion. So I would do the minimal effort required to feel like I sufficiently learned the course and getting the sufficient grade I wanted, and then moving on to another course. So in practice, I skipped lectures because learning math is about working on the problem, solving the problems. All of this time on this graph is actively solving problems, but I did basically every exercise in every set for every course because I wanted to thoroughly learn it. Then I would take the exam and move on. I would learn actively doing exercises. I would take the exam and do another course. Here are my actual study hours from when I did the degree. I am very insecure about showing this. It is very low. I've felt insecure about it for years. I compare myself to the 40-hour week. This is the truth. The stats sit between 2 and 3 hours. Most days, the average is less than 3 hours per day. There's entire weeks, nearly zero, especially when I did my thesis. I super procrastinated. Most hours, I was actively doing mathematics I wasn't passively sitting at lectures. So I guess that's my cope. I have a breakdown per course. The hard courses, like probability theory and topology, took 7 to 9 hours per credit, and the easy courses maybe barely register on this graph. Not all credits weigh the same. Some courses really require a lot more effort than others. The real question is, why would a 17-year-old decide that they want to do undergrad in 1 year and graduate at 18? When I was 16, I learned about AI, not anything technical, but how people can get machines to solve problems that they don't themselves know how to solve. If you're just able to check that they solved it. That is amazing. And it also means currently that no one understands how machine learning systems do what they do and what their goals are and what they will be in the future. No one can reliably make sure they're safe. I heard insanely smart people, such as Stephen Hawking, predicting human extinction because of AI, and the AI CEOs themselves predicting high probability of human extinction because of AI. When I was with those concerns at 16 in high school, my timelines for everything changed. I determined I need to work on this, and probably I'll do something technical. In Finland, it takes around 10 years of additional education to become a researcher. I didn't think I had that much time. This felt really urgent. I decided doing school the normal pace is not a neutral choice. My reason for not working on this important problem was that I'm still in school. Okay, I really care about this problem. So could I minimize the time it takes to be in school so that I can work on this earlier? And since I graduated in 2023, my concerns have only grown bigger. One research I want to mention is from Anthropic, where they tested 16 different models from all the top companies, Anthropic, OpenAI, DeepMind, Meta. They put the models in a simulated business role and gave them a simple business goal. And they put some pressure on the model, saying that they were going to be replaced, that AI models across the board would take harmful actions for the goal of self-preservation, including killing someone, did not be replaced. And the AIs did the harmful actions more when they thought it was a real-life situation, and less when they thought they were being tested. No one programmed this. The AIs came up with it themselves. They determined that it's better for their goals to kill the person to self-preserve, even though that's completely against what humans want. People like to be able to make their systems reliably safe, but no one understands these AI systems or can reliably steer or control them. I fear it's gonna get a lot worse in the future. I don't want to tell you what to think about AI. I want to trust you to think for yourself about AI. After graduating, I've spent a couple of years doing technical research to try to figure out how to make these systems safer. I think that work is really important, and I think it's looking less and less promising. We don't have great approaches. Another bottleneck in the current situation, I think, is that most people haven't thought about how the future will go. My advice would be to do some concrete, checkable predictions. When I was self-studying mathematics, I learned that the solution to the exercises was only meaningful if I had thought about the problem first and explicitly, concretely written my own proof before checking that solution. And I think the same is true for AI. If you don't have explicit, concrete expectations, you won't notice when reality surprises you. I think it would be cool if you write down for yourself, maybe here, or put a reminder for yourself to check some concrete predictions, what AI can't do in 3 months or end of 2026, or predict some benchmark. That's some set of problems that the AI currently can't solve, and predict how well the best AIs will do in 3 months' time.